Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to the STP training webinar, which is 7 ways to upskill and transform yourself into a security tester. Like I said last time, we really have got you covered on security this year. We typically have 2 webinars a month, and this month seems to be a totally dedicated month to security. This is our second webinar for January, and it is on security too. Our speaker for the day is Santhosh Tuppad. I'm Smita Mishra, a professional tester myself, and I'm excited to host you all and Santhosh on our STP trainings. For all our listeners today, let me tell you, we have our next conference coming up as Spring 2018 STP Con, which will be held in the Newport Beach, California from April 9th through 12th this year. And here's the deal for those interested. If you register by 16th February, you will be able to save up to $300 on your fees. Our program committee has already selected a world-class range of speakers across the keynotes, the workshops, and the sessions, and you can view the entire program on stpcon.com under the event schedule. The conference topics include automation, agile, performance, DevOps, mobile, security, leadership, strategy, and much more. We typically have over 20 workshops and about 40 sessions for you to choose from. And the formats are like roundtables, case studies, hands-on exercises, and tool demos. We also introduced last time, STP Circle Time, which shall be repeated again this time. It's a superb opportunity for the first-time speakers or those who would like to speak before the entire testing community and present something interesting for a 5-minute session. Last time, Dorothy Graham was our first volunteer for it, and of course, she's a very well-respected and renowned speaker. As STP is expanding now its offerings, we are also coming up with the new STP membership programs. The details shall be out soon, so keep looking. Another quick piece of information that I have for you is that there's an upcoming webinar, Leading Business Testers, by Nancy Kellen on 14th of February. So Nancy is also a very renowned tester and very loved in the community. And it's going to be an awesome webinar for the functional testers. So if you're following, if you are on Twitter, please share the conference information and about this webinar with your followers, connections. You can also add STP's Twitter handle to your tweets, which is @SoftwareTestPro. Right before we start, few housekeeping points for the next 1 hour. All the attendees shall remain muted through the webinar. You can type in your questions and share them with us through your question box. We shall take them up after Santhosh is done with his presentation. The webinar shall be recorded and posted on SoftwareTestPro site for the attendees to go through later. All right, so let's get started with the webinar today. A very warm welcome, Santhosh. We are very thrilled to have you today with us here. And let me quickly introduce you for all of us here. Santhosh is a passionate software tester and expert tester who comes from the context-driven school of testing and has tremendous experience in web application testing and mobile apps testing through exploratory testing approach. Be it functional testing or security testing, he's a punter. His love for computers started when he was 12, and at 16, he was a hacker. Besides testing, he loves traveling and, more testing. All right, Santhosh, very warm welcome again, and the floor is all yours now.
Thank you, Smita. So hello, everyone. Welcome all to my webinar. And today I'm going to speak about 7 ways to upskill and transform yourself into a security tester. Well, to me, it's 10:30 in the night and looks like hackers are more awake at these times, usually because it's dark. And when I say dark, I mean evil. To know what evil is in terms of security testing or hacking, I'll be sharing more details going forward. So to quickly start, I would be speaking more about myself, which would be my journey with security testing. So most of them call it as ethical hacking or information security or application security. But I never knew that it's called hacking, but I was actually doing hacking. So how the journey started was, so when I fell in love with computers, I was 12. So to start with, I did not have a computer to work on, and I did not even know what's a computer. So it was all about the textbooks and the notebooks and the academics I had. And then, however, some of the great traits I had, which I'm not so proud of, but it so happened that I was a great liar as a kid and a thief who used to steal the chocolates from a shop where my mother used to be a regular customer. And then also I used to break into my school security, the physical infrastructure, and that was my fantasy. It's not that I wanted to lie or my mother couldn't afford to buy chocolates for me or steal exam question papers from school. I don't know why, but I'm glad I could connect my present to my past, and connecting the dots from the past, it feels great journey. And when I was 12 years old, so it's a kind of a story that I'm going to tell you now. So I was 12 years old and my father just enrolled me into a computer course, and I just followed the instructions of my father, and I thought experiencing working with computers. On day one, my instructor at the course taught me some DOS commands. Well, not the denial of service attacks, but disk operating system. But he also introduced me to some games like Prince of Persia and some car racing game. Well, we had a monochrome monitor, so it was not really that fascinating, but it was good. So after day one, it was 95% of games I used to play, and then DOS commands were like 5% of time I used to spend on them. I was happy because my instructor had a girlfriend who used to call him, and they used to be busy on call, and I was busy playing games. So it was like win-win situation for both of us. And times passed, and my father purchased the first computer when I was 16. So, so there are some kind of myths here. When I was 16, many people used to tell me there is something called as hacking, but I did not know what was hacking, just that I knew the spelling of hacking, that's all. So continuing with my phase of hacking, so my dad actually got my first computer, and then I got to know there is something called as internet. And the way I got to internet was through my friends when they asked me to go with them to the internet cafe where they had internet. Well, internet cafes have internet. And the first thing we saw was porn. And after porn, my exploration of internet began. And I was fascinated with the invention of internet. So most of them keep telling me that, okay, you need to get internet at home, but I did not have any money. So my first hack was dial-up internet credentials. And many people told me that without learning programming or something, you cannot learn hacking. And without tools, you cannot do hacking. So which are basically myths now. I mean, when I started evolving, I got to know, okay, these are just the myths. It's not necessarily it's a difficult or easy, but hacking is challenging. So which we call as security testing as well. I'll speak more about why we have different naming conventions going forward. So once I hacked the dial-up internet, so we had a 56 kbps modem long back. And I did not have money to buy internet, so I had to hack the credentials of someone else and then use it from my home to connect to the internet. So that was my first hack. And then I moved on to dial-up hacks or server hacking and proxies, email address hacking, hosting credentials, desktop application, client server application, web, mobile, and so on. So let's move on to the myths here. So firstly, let me help you by clearing the confusion. We all have seen different designations in different companies like hacker, ethical hacker, white hat hacker, but we don't see a black hat hacker. And I must say that all of them are same to me in terms of concept. It's fundamentally hacking. And whenever we say hacking, people are like, they get scared, and what are they talking about? It's like a crime or something. But let's understand that hacking is not about good or bad, but the intentions could differ based on every individual. And hacking could be unauthorized access of data, or it could be someone hacking into someone's bank account and transferring the money to an account in some other country. It could be hacking your social media accounts and seeing your private chat transcripts or private pictures in order to blackmail you. It's just like holding a ransom. So that means until you pay a certain amount of money to the malicious hackers, they don't purge the data that they hacked. They would use it to blackmail you. Or someone shopping for their loved ones for free, like you shop for 1,000 US dollars or any other amount, and you just end up paying 850 US dollars or nothing. You can still end up in paying 0 US dollars or 1 US dollars. But why I tell you, you can still pay 850 US dollars even though you shop for 1,000 US dollars is because hackers need not be stingy. So you can be a long-term hacker with that application. So that's a black hat concept that I'm speaking about. And also booking a free movie ticket. So you could book a free movie ticket on some of the applications. And I must say that, okay, even today you can do a lot of hacking. And basically, hackers need not worry about physiological needs. Like you want to book a space on Airbnb, or you want to book or Airbnb or something like that. Or it could be a gifting website, or it could be banking applications, or even clothing websites. So if you are really skilled, I don't think so. Okay, you need to spend money, or you need money for booking your space, or buying clothes, or gift items. So hacking exists anywhere and everywhere. It could be healthcare, e-commerce, banking, border security, content management systems, or news portals. Now, whenever I speak to newbies who want to learn hacking or security testing, they always ask me this question: is hacking easy or difficult? But that's a difficult question to answer now. So that's why it's challenging, and sometimes easy can be difficult for someone and difficult can be easy for someone. But I think it's all about the challenges, and hacking is bad is one of the myth. So one of the students, when I was giving a talk in a college, she said, okay, hacking is bad, why do we do it? So then I said, even the gun that the cops use is bad. Then they said, okay, no, it's because they are using it to protect us from the bad guys. So it's the same here. Hacking can be good or bad with the intentions. And to those who say hacking is about tools, teach me tools, because they just want to point and click scanners or something. And I will talk about those people who do this and what they are called as going forward. And I want to become a hacker like in the movies. Well, it's all sugar coated in the movies. Someone is like saying, hey, I got access to the traffic controls, or I can just turn it red or green or just crash them. It's just like 1 minute or 30 seconds. I don't think so that's possible. It takes a lot of time, ideas, and think about it. Security testing can be automated is one of the myths I hear a lot in the testing industry. And they think everything can be automated. Well, like we speak, Michael Bolton has a series of blog posts which speaks about checking versus testing. So I would say that whenever we use the scanners, that's mostly checks. So there are instructions in the code, basically, that's integrated with the tool. So that will check for, okay, if this flag exists, or if there is a CAPTCHA, can be one check. Or if there's an HTTP only flag in web applications, is it turned on or off? So these are the checks. But so my contention is, if it can be automated, and we only use tools to do that, and even hackers could do the same thing. And you could stop them understanding, okay, they use these kind of tools, and we can surely stop them by using the same tools and identifying the security bugs and then fixing them. But that's not possible. So every day we get hacked, no matter what kind of security controls we are adding. That's because we usually think that, okay, usage of tools and making them automated will solve our problems, which is a myth again. And going to the compliance, people think that, okay, we are compliance certified, be it a healthcare or a BFSI and everything. Even today, I find a lot of hospitals or healthcare systems or even the banks are poorly developed. And I don't think so. Compliance certification means, okay, you are having a secure software. The same goes with the CEH certification. Most of them speak about the certified ethical hacking. And I've seen people, okay, when I ask them to do a hack, like hacking a Wi-Fi, they say that I'm confused. They just tell me the tool name because that comes in your multiple choice questions, right? And then the last myth is we are in the safe internet society, and that's the biggest one. And I must tell you that we are not really. So every day we are tracked. Even your mobile phone, microphone is always on, and even your camera could be on. And when they say that, okay, your battery is 5%, maybe it's 30% still available, but what is shown on the user interface is 5%. And once it gets turned off, the battery is still running and the microphone is still running, maybe. We don't know because we don't know how it works under the hood. So there are a lot of things, okay, and these are just few myths, and there can be many myths, okay, which are going in the industry or in those people who are existing hackers, especially the white hat hackers. They think that, okay, tools usage, and then, okay, if I learn tools, okay, I can be a hacker. No, I think it's all about the mindset, and the skill set comes next to me, because that's what I have practiced since 16. It's been like 15 years for me, and then I'm still learning about the mindset. So going forward, there are different types of hackers. It could be script kiddies. Now, script kiddies are the ones who use some tools or a prefabricated script in order to bring down a system or an application with just clicks. You can relate them to scanners or some tools where someone could bring down a website by sending a lot of requests or a bigger payload. They're sending like millions of requests, so they cannot be online now because the bandwidth is consumed. And or they can also perform some kind of scanning using the tools. But I don't think so it's really hacking. To make it more clear, a script kiddies are someone who could hack the first dial-up connection using a tool. So that can relate to my experience. So you remember that I mentioned about my first hack being dial-up, and I use a software which could unmask the asterisk in the password field of a dial-up connection. I had to just drag an icon. The icon looked like a key to the lock from the software. Well, the software name was IOPS password recovery, or it's also known as the other software is behind the asterisks. So I take it and then I see the password. So that's how I did it. So basically, I was a script kiddie when I hacked the dial-up connection when I was 16. So while some people treat script kiddies as no hackers because they are not really generating the ideas of hacking from their brain, and also they are not really thinking about exploiting or finding the vulnerabilities by themselves. And some do treat these as hackers because if they have met the goal or objective of compromising the application, they have hacked something that makes them hackers. Well, anyways, these are perspectives or opinions that people around the globe hold. So next, moving on to that black hat hackers. So black hat hackers could be someone with a malicious intentions, and they could do an organized crime like hacking a bank and then getting a lot of money for their personal benefits. Or it could be someone who holds a grudge on someone because someone messed with this person and they want to hack someone's account or do some harm to them. Or it could be a curious attacker, but by nature, hackers need to be curious. It's the same goes with the testers as well. Or other type of black hat hackers could be the attackers who are really motivated to do something because they want to just test their skills. In short, we want to keep our software away. When I say away, it means okay, secure from black hat hackers. And white hat hackers. So I think I can call myself a white hat hacker. Well, when I was 16, I wasn't really. I could call myself a script kiddie or a black hat hacker. So then I transformed to the white hat hacker because I did not feel good about being black hat and hacking email addresses of my friends and doing all those evil things. And white hat hackers can also be you professionals when you learn hacking or security testing about web, mobile, or Internet of Things, or even physical infrastructure, or anything that has a software and a physical infrastructure. And we have a good intentions to help the business owners by making the application secure, by identifying the security bugs, working with the programmers to fix them before black hat hackers could identify them and exploit it badly, leading to, it could be financial impact or business impact, and also leading to reputation damage, loss of data, privacy violation, and more. And there are fourth type, which you can call it as a gray hat. Gray hat is a mix of black hat and white hat. So what do you mean exactly is the question now. Now, brain is really a tricky thing. So let's say one of my friends comes to me and says, hey Santhosh, can you hack this person's account? Then I say, no, I'm a white hat hacker. I don't really do that because I'm not a black hat hacker. He says, I'll give you some money, which could be 1,000 US dollars. Then I say, no, I don't do it for money or something. It's my principles. Then he says, a kind of negotiation goes here. He says, 10,000 US dollars. I still say no. He says 100,000 US dollars. I say, oh, maybe I'll think about it. Then he says maybe 1 million US dollars. Then I say, I shift my principles to something else now. So that's a brain thing. Well, you can still be a white hat hacker even if the person offered you 1 million, but it's tricky with the brain. So that's why it's a gray hat. Based on the context situations, you can be a bit of black hat and white hat. But I don't appreciate you being a black hat, but it's up to you. So let's move forward. And last but not least, a hacker is not some sneaky, creepy dude with a hoodie who sits in the basement. We always think a person who has a hoodie and he listens to some psychedelic trance or something, and then we feel, look at this guy, he's really a hacker. No, it's not about that. They still come in a different looks. We can be professionals, and this person may look like not a hacker, but he's a hacker. So they come in every different flavors. So it's not only about the basement or hoodie or some music. So why do we need to upskill? So the first thing is we have a lot of black hat hackers, and we do have a white hat hackers as well, but the skills are not really up to the mark, just like the black hat hackers. They are really highly skilled and they have a lot of time to hack. And as a white hat hackers, we have got like 1 month or 15 days. That's how most of the companies work. After everything, they come saying that non-functional testing. And I totally disagree with that keyword or what label they give, calling it as non-functional testing. And when you can, doing a security testing or doing a security attack, you can bring on a website, how can it be non-functional testing? I think we need to fix the labels here. So usually people do security testing in the end. But I think that you need to do it even from the design phase or the requirement phase, or when people are coding. So, but it doesn't happen. It rarely happens, maybe in the startups or some smaller companies or smaller teams. So we have a skill shortage, which is a bigger problem. And scanners and automated checkers are insufficient. Most of the companies, I would not like to name them, but these are really the big guys. And I think that you already know which are those companies. So what happens is they use a Burp Suite, which is a famous tool. Burp Suite is really a great tool, but if you are not generating ideas in your brain and using the power of the tool, Burp Suite is still useless. So what we need is a great skills, mindset, generating the ideas, and then exploiting, finding vulnerabilities, and then doing good work. And the last reason is to make this internet society a better place to live in. So some quick facts before we speak on how, right? So you can relate to your application that you are testing. So first point could be your admin panel or login page is accessible by anyone on the web via your URL. So all you need to do is, so let me show one of the example here. What happens when, so you are seeing the screen. So this is called Insomnia cookies. So all they do is they sell cookies here. And as a hacker, what you can do is, the first thing is you want to see if there is anything that I can hack from this application and where is the data here. The first thing I do is I go to the robots.txt page. So then here, this is interesting to me. So let me zoom in. So you see here, so this is being disallowed by the robots. And when I say robots, these are the Google bots or Yahoo bots, search engine bots especially. So robots.txt file helps the Google bots or search engine bots by telling them what you need to crawl and display them in the search engine and what you should not be crawling. But one of the bad thing I would call is this file can also be used by hackers. So for instance, I know what's the admin path here. Maybe they should not be doing it. Maybe this is also the secret directory here. I don't know what happens here. Maybe I can try here and say admin. So look at this. Okay, you have the username and the password. So if I have to analyze this, what's being drawn here? Firstly, why should we allow the whole web to access the admin page? You need to have at least a static IP address from where people can access this page, and no one else should not be. I mean, no one else should be able to access this page. And also, you can have a .ht access. So it's like this file where you have one more security layer before coming to this page. You need to enter the password there in the ht access, and only after you succeed there, you come to this admin page. But you don't see any security controls here. Everything is, and the bigger thing is, I can keep trying here, different combinations. And what I'll do is I'll write a script or use a brute force tools where I generate different combinations of username and password. But one of my guests would be admin or administrator or admin insomnia, all these kind of generations. And I would use my GPUs, which is your graphical processing unit, to send like around thousands or millions of requests per second. Well, yes, there are some systems which are really powerful doing a brute force attacks here. And also, you don't see any captcha here. The image where you speak about your captchas here, some people do have captcha, but most of them do not. So captcha helps you to stop the attacks, but sometimes, okay, they are really poorly developed, and you can still bypass the captchas. So let's go back to our main screen and Google Chrome. Just a moment. Yeah. So, and the other thing would be your user login has a captcha to stop brute force attack, but your admin login lacks captcha. So this is what I showed you in Insomnia cookies. So captcha stops the bots. You need to enter the text in the box, like which are the characters or with the digits as well. So this will stop the scripts or the robots from logging in, continuously bombarding with different usernames and combinations to compromise your user login credentials. And also, did you turn off the resistant email address in the who is information? So many people in the who is, they don't turn off the registration email address. So what can happen with this? So let me show you by going ahead here. So let's go to whois.com and I enter something. Let's say, okay, let's go with SoftwareTestPro. Peggy, don't blame me here. So let's go here. Oh, this is a good one. So we see that Peggy, this is the information, and also you see this info@redwoodco.com. This is the email address for the domain and probably hosting as well. So how I can use this information is I will try to hack this email address. I wouldn't try to compromise the application or the website of SoftwareTestPro. I would try to hack this, and once I hack this, I'll use the forgot password from the hosting. And once I get the email, then I have access to the domain and hosting. So there are different ways of hacking here. And going here, what you need to do is you need to privacy protect. Don't show your phone number here, the real one. Don't show the email, and don't show anything else, because people can use it for social engineering and calling you and saying, "Hey, look, I'm calling from this hosting company. You need to give me your PIN number because we are adding a new SSL for your website." So that's called the social engineering here. And some of the people do try accessing the files. So I can go to some software testing news and type /uploads here. What does it tell me? Okay, nothing. It goes back. So we don't really. So accessing your directory, it works on something like WP content, which is your WordPress, and /uploads. If you are not disabling the directory listing, I think, okay, you will open it to a lot of hackers and access your sensitive data there. And next going as well. So sorry about that. So one more thing would be, did you forget to obfuscate the CSS file? Most of the hackers don't think this way. And most of the script kiddies or white hat hackers, they only say cross-site scripting, SQL injection, cross-site request forgery, all the big names. But I think the hacking starts from your CSS file, remotes.txt file, and your sitemap.xml. So in your sitemap.xml, if you are giving all the sensitive URLs, that's a problem. Now, how CSS files can be helpful for the hacker is, so when you write a user login, you always have a .css file for styling your login interface or styling your page, which is seen after logging in. So if your CSS shows these kind of things, if you see here, add user, then delete users, and this tells me something about what can I see inside if I hack into or if I crack this username and password. So this acts like a motivation. CSS file acts like a motivation for hacker, so that that hacker can decide, should I really spend more time on this or should I not? But knowing this information, or maybe I can add users, maybe I can delete all the users from the application. That person, I mean the hacker, will be motivated highly to go ahead and do a lot of hacks there. So one of the example I would like to show you, it's in one of the website. Let me switch to the Mantra browser. Just a moment. So here we go. And this is a new site. So please don't notice down, I have removed the URL because for the confidential reasons. So this is the admin login for one of the news website in India. It's a very famous one, and many people, like more than 1 million people, follow this website every day. And what I could find out this login is, first thing is I can access the admin. All I did was go to any URL and type /admin. Okay, and once I typed it, what I could do is I could go to view page source, and I went to the styles.css and that's how it looks here. So just a moment. So all you can see from the CSS file is add the title and then the page description and the delete comments and a lot of things. So here you can see, yeah. So let me show in the editor. You see this page content is one of the selector of CSS. Page description is one more. And then you have message, and then you can get what all menu items it has, and then you can hack this application and then get inside, delete all the articles or delete all the news posts or add your own news post, and many people can get to know you. You can say that, I mean, basically, I can say that I'm the next president of India and I make it news, and people can see my picture. And I will also say, follow me on Twitter. I get more Twitter followers now. So, but I wouldn't do it because they would catch me and put me in the prison, right? But I can help other politicians or politics to advertise their party or their news, and no one would know it. So this is about the CSS file. And going back, switch back to Google Chrome. So based on my experience, on my hacking and helping people around the globe, I see that out of 10 healthcare applications, 8 can be exploited and compromised. So around the globe, some of the healthcare applications use WordPress, which is highly insecure. And even if they use WordPress, they don't have a security controls. They can easily find who is the author name. They can go to /wp-admin. That's a URL for the login page now. And once they go to login, there is no CAPTCHA and there is no intrusion detection system. But still, these healthcare applications are hosted on WordPress. And we still don't know how many hackers out there, the black hat hackers, already have access to the data, but they're not telling anyone. And we think that we are all secure because we are not improving on anything. And we are not thinking that oh, there's no news about our website on any news channels, so we are fine. No, probably you are wrong.
Santhosh,
Sure.
Can I interrupt you? Sorry.
Yeah.
There were a couple of attendees who have mentioned that they were unable to see the website.
Okay.
So they are able to see the slides that you're showing, but
Okay.
is it possible for you to go back and show the website quickly, the site you're talking
Oh,
about?
all right. All right. So.
And we can come back to this slide. Then you were audible. Everything we understood everything. They just wanted to
Okay.
see the site
Great.
once.
I will
Yeah.
do that. Yeah. So Google Chrome main screen. Just a moment.
Sure. Thank you for.
Welcome. So are you able to see this website here now?
Yes, they're able to see
Okay,
it now.
great. So this one, so let's say any website I go, so first thing I would start from is, let's say, admin, and then probably I'm going to reach the admin page. Now that's a bad way of naming your administrator login page. So, and also we should not be, and we don't have a CAPTCHA here. I can try different combinations and the passwords here. I would still, maybe I will get access to the page inside, or let me do a right click here, and then let me show up source here. So I will try to use all the CSS files here to see if I can get what's inside, just like how I showed you in Sublime text here. Just a moment, I need to switch. So here, this CSS file. So if I hack into that, maybe then I can get access to all the different users or page content, page description, page title here. So you looking into the CSS file, I can tell you what kind of data will be inside the admin page after I get access to the admin. So this is the motivation layer for hackers. So don't never ever place your admin to the web like this. Never do that. Just make sure that it has a static IP address. Let's say I have an IP address called A. Okay. So if it's not A and it's B, C, or something, we don't allow those people to access this page. So we block them. And so make your CSS obfuscated. Don't just keep them as it is. So obfuscation, you have many tools for obfuscation, or when you do, let me go back here. I was speaking about the CSS here. So don't use these kind of selectors, .delete users or .add user, because hackers will get to know. All you can do is something like ABC123, because those are obfuscated now, and people really, hackers don't get to know them. So obfuscate your CSS, and that's one way, okay, you can be safe from those people who would look into CSS files to get motivated. And yeah, we spoke about the healthcare applications. Yeah, so building on the WordPress is not recommended. So you can use your different content management systems, but before you use any third-party systems, make sure you test them well. And bring in the hackers, okay, who are really skilled. I would say that, okay, I would never go to a bigger companies where they just do the scanning and then they say we certified your application, but I would really go to those hackers, try to find those hackers who can really help me. And also, out of 10, 1 or 2 customers understand the importance of security. Most of the customers, those people who come to my company, they ask me, Santhosh, okay, we need all the bugs to be fixed. No security bugs should be there. And when I tell them, it really doesn't work that way. Okay, you need to have a consistent assessment of your security, because every day there can be new attacks. So if you consider last year, in 2016, there were 91 new threats that were seen in the industry or the web. So, it's really hard, but I hope that, okay, customers really understand the bad side of the black hat hacking, and then they really take care of the security. And what you see, HTTPS or your two-factor authentication, public keys, doesn't mean you are secure unless tested well. And most of the people think that two-factor authentication means, okay, we are secure for life. Not necessarily true. I have actually hacked into applications where they had a two-factor authentication. And I would like to share an experience here. So one of the applications, so I go to the login, I enter my username and password, and then I have to enter the one-time password, which is sent to my mobile phone. So what I did was I went to the developer tools in Google Chrome or Firefox and went to the network tab, and then I started seeing the OTP is in the response body once I log in. So I need not really go to my mobile phone and check my SMS to see what's the OTP. I can see it from the web itself. So we are not really using the mobile phone here. So how is it two-factor authentication if you are showing the OTP in the response body of the web application or in your web browser as well? So if you don't test them well, all this trending or all this flashy technologies, two-factor, multi-factor, they are useless. Like how they say in like architecture, right? It's not about what we build, but how we build it. So test them well, and if they're not, I think, okay, they can be really creepy hacks here, and your business can come down in a day or two. So I'm also going next to the e-commerce application. 1 in every 30 e-commerce applications can be used to bypass checkout and still buy products. So there is one of the website, I would not like to name it, is the security bug is still open. So what I did was I ordered some of the flowers and the chocolates for my loved ones, and it was around $170 US, but I ended in paying $10 US. I got flowers, chocolates, and all of those items which I had ordered. And even you can run it for any e-commerce applications. And nowadays we use a third-party applications for e-commerce. So they just change the UI, but the backend system remains same. If you are using that, like a Magento or all those things, and if a hacker finds a hack in these kind of platforms, most of the customers will be facing a bigger problem rather than one or two, because most of them are using this platform, or whatever third-party platform. And out of 100 testers who show interest in security talks, only 1 or none think about pursuing it or learning it. Well, I'm not kind of demotivating you guys, but this is a kind of fact that I've seen. We are always excited about, oh, this will work, that will work, okay, I will get this job. But unless we put our heart and soul into this and get the mindset, practice mindset, we are not going to do it. And the last one, if it has not been hacked for the last 5 years, it doesn't mean it will not be hacked now. Oh, well, this looks like an inductive reasoning to me, which is not valid. So it can be hacked today or tomorrow. It's just that the black hat hackers haven't still got access to your application, or they know about it. So maybe it can happen tonight or after 5 minutes, we don't know. So it's better to secure them. So now this is the thing. If you want to start, it's better to start off with know the history to solve the mystery. So if you don't know how everything started, where did the web start, or the HTTP start, or how did the internet start, and how were the hacks before? So we have moved to Web 2.0 from Web 1.0. Everything was like static applications. There was nothing much to hack before. But today, everything is on the web. You store your money on the web. You store your pictures on the web. You store your confidential data on the web. Everything is on the web here. So before they had something called as CERT, Computer Emergency Response Team in 90s, but once the security researchers started reporting a lot of security bugs, and these guys couldn't really afford to follow up on everything, it went down. So, and nowadays, okay, we have, as the technology started evolving, we have got more and more black hat hackers. And that tells us that, this kind of pattern from 90s to 2018 now, tells us that there are more black hat hackers compared to white hat hackers. Most of the white hat hackers are tool based, not real, or only OWASP top 10. I understand that the OWASP top 10 are really a good list, but we have to go beyond that list and secure our software. So that would be one. Think about how keyboards work. Think about how mouse works. Think about how keyloggers work and how someone can track your keys when you type them, and how someone can hack into your ATM. So basically, it's about thinking evil to fight evil. So that's what I'm talking about. That's going to my second point here. So if you are really struggling to start with security testing, go with the cheat sheets. And these cheat sheets are like checklists. And just keep following them, and also start questioning what else can be the problem here. So once you start practicing this with a checklist, you at least get the confidence to grow to the next level. So don't block yourself, start with the cheat sheets, and then take it to the advanced level. So I will just show you where you can get access to these cheat sheets. Just let me switch here, the browser. So OWASP is the one. So once you go to the website, you just need to do a cheat sheets here. Click on cheat sheets, and you see all these different ones. It could be forgot password, how you need to do input validation, or how for the file upload security tests, clickjacking. So, and it also tells, once you click on this, okay, it gives you a description as well. So start off with this. At least you can get the 100 test ideas from the cheat sheets here. So OWASP.org, and then you can just go to cheat sheets. that's the first place that you can start off with. And going to the third one, social engineering skills. Most of us think that, okay, this is useless, but most of the attacks happen with the social engineering. So let me speak about someone has an application and it can be accessed only from that IP address. And let's say this person breaches into the physical infrastructure or connects to the Wi-Fi, which gets him the same IP address, and then that person can access its admin page and hack it. So what I'm telling is, not only secure your web application or all these things, but also look at your Wi-Fi or your physical infrastructure, because if someone can gain access to your Wi-Fi, they get the same IP address and they can enter anywhere, and you're just limited by your imagination being a hacker. So social engineering skills can be many things. Most of us use our server name and password and just we put it on the stick notes and we just paste it on our CPU or cabinet, right? Or we just put it on our laptop. No matter how much training we are given, we end up in doing this because we have so many passwords. Well, I think that, okay, we should stop doing that. And other things can be, the other social engineering skills could be shoulder surfing or your dumpster diving, where someone goes into the dustbin and starts searching, okay, what's here? And that person gets to know, okay, someone got a credit card yesterday. And if you have your PIN number on the post, so you try to destroy it by tearing it into 4 pieces, but you tear it in such a way that the one piece itself has all the 4 digits of the PIN number of your credit card. So that doesn't make sense. So that's why we use a cross shredders. So you just go there, or else cross shredders, no horizontal, no vertical shredders, because you can still get back a lot of information when you shred using a horizontal or vertical. So, I mean, when you learn about social engineering skills, okay, you become aware of your software security. So what kind of social engineering skills can compromise a software security? For example, I showed you the who is information. If you go to the who is information of any website, and then you get the email address there, so you can use it to hack someone. You can use it to hack their email, or you can call that phone number and say, hey, look, I'm calling from the hosting company. So you can do a lot of things there. Now, moving on to the next thing, what I will focus on is think like a criminal. I mean, don't be scared here. When I say think like a criminal, what I mean is you need to learn how to think like a black hat hacker here. So if you don't know how a black hat hacker thinks, you are totally disconnected from the world of black hat hackers and you are trying to fix something else here. So if you think like one, but you don't be a black hat hacker, you can be a better white hat hacker. So that's why my quote goes like this. So to be a better white hat hacker, be a great black hat hacker. So thinking like criminal can be, well, what can I say here? Okay, you go to ATM and think about how can I hack the ATM, but just think that, okay, don't go behind a person or else maybe you'll be caught. So go there, maybe you can think about the thumb impressions or the finger impressions on the ATM, those digits, right? Or else maybe thinking about having a pinhole camera somewhere on the top and use a sticker and put it there, and then you can record all the PIN numbers. And also there's something called as card skimming, where you can read a card. But what you do is basically you add one more layer in the card reader of the ATM. So whenever someone adds, inserts a card, okay, it reads the debit card number or credit card number to the magnetic strip. That's why today we have EMV chip, which is from Europay and Visa and MasterCard. So that's kind of secure because it keeps changing its PIN number after every transaction. So it's hard to use the old PIN number for the next transaction. So if a hacker was reading through the card reader, so even for the next time, the card wouldn't work. So it's comparatively secure than the before. So identify security bugs or vulnerabilities by questioning. So most of us, even if you are not doing a hands-on testing, security testing, you can still ask questions. You can go to the developer and ask questions like, what kind of passwords are you using? Are you using hashing in the database? We no more use encryption in the database because any encryption can be decrypted. So that's why we use a hashing, which looks like more than 16 alphanumeric characters, and it's hard to dehash. But there are tools for that as well, and there are people as well who are trying to hack them as well. But the most secure one is like salted hashes today. So you mix a salt, which is like $2 ABC, some numbers after 15th character or before 5th character, so it makes the hashes more secure now. So adding the salt makes the food tasty. So it's the same goes with the salted hashes. So you're adding the salt to the hash to make it more secure. And also you can ask questions to your developer saying, so what are you using what kind of queries are you using to the SQL? Are you writing some kind of masking queries where they're not the real ones, but okay, you are using it at the application layer and then sending it to database instead of someone doing a SQL injection by saying select star from user data and all those things. So doing all this questioning in the design phase, requirements phase, so can be helpful as well. And so there are a list of questions on OAuth.com, which gives like 50 or hundreds of questions by looking into the cheat sheets. And all you can do is take those questions and have a meeting with your developer or programmer or your stakeholders. And you need not do security testing at the end of your testing cycle. So the sixth one could be talk to Black Hat community members. They could be ex-Black Hat community members or they could be existing ones. But usually they don't allow anyone to join their group or ask questions and you wouldn't know where to talk to them. And one of the hint I could give you is using Internet Relay Chat, the IRC. There are a lot of chat rooms on IRC, Internet Relay Chat. It's kind of old school, but even today as well, you have a lot of channels there. Maybe you can get access to some Black Hat hackers. I met a lot of hackers from different countries being on IRC when I was 17, when I was in my teenage. So talking to them, they can help you just, grow faster, and you will get to know the perspective of Black Hat guys as well, so that you can be a better White Hat guys. And in the end, read more, watch more, practice more. So if I have been practicing hacking for 15 years now, and it's been my passion, and if I give a break, then again my mindset may change. So consistently I have to keep breathing through my brain. So I'm thinking about ideas and keeping an eye on the current hacks or the new threats that come into the industry. So this is the last one. Practicing is something beautiful. At least I spend like 2 hours every day on doing some kind of attacks or looking at the applications and all those. The next question is, where do you practice? What do you watch and what do you read? So if you want to look at the demonstration, I could show one of the demonstration. Let me switch to the browser. But hold on. Let's go here. So if you guys know about the U-Test, okay, which is a crowdsourcing platform. So I hacked into U-Test. So let me quickly show you what was the hack here. You can also go here and look into this. I'm just playing it for you. I hope you can see the screen here. So this is, it's kind of blurry, but I'll just tell you what I'm doing here. I think that is so 480 pixels. So I enter my username here, and I'm a tester on the U-Test platform. Or this was long back, for 3 years or something. I enter my username, and then I enter my password. I log in. So it's logging in here, and then this is my profile. So ignore the picture, it was an old one. So now I would like to change my password here. So what I do is click on change password. So I enter my password and then I confirm the password, and then let me just drag it. I go to developer tools, I open developer and then network tab in Firefox. So once I go here, I click on submit so that I can see the request in the network tab. I click on submit button. I see a request here, account info. So I click on that and then I click on edit and resend here. So if you see here, there's an ID in the request body, first name, last name, email address, and everything. Now this ID, I just wanted it to be changed to someone else. Now what I did was, I had access to, I knew who was the community manager of UTest. So this was the ID of that person, and I replaced his ID in the database. So let me try. So I entered, replaced my ID with his ID, and I also replaced his email address. Now, how I got access to his email address was, so community managers keep sending the emails in the newsletters and everything. So they use their email address. So I thought probably that would be the email address. So I entered his email address, and then I click on send. Now I see the response here. It says 500 internal server error, but it's fine. It's still committed. So what I do is I log out now, and then here I enter his email as a Peter, and then enter the password which I entered for myself, but I changed the ID to Peter. Then I entered this. So now at this point of time, you see a user interface which says applause. Applause acquired UTest. But for the tester, a regular user, it doesn't show this screen. Now, once I see this screen, applause, I felt that, okay, this is the real admin. So email address is good. So now I will enter the same username and password here. Let me try it here, just a moment. So look at this. Once I enter the change username or password, I gain access to the internal. If you observe the URL, it says /u/internal. So look at this. Let me pause the video, and then you can see the menu items. So you see on the left side, dashboard, alerts, test cycles, bugs, company users, payments, admin, settings. So I can do payments. I can send money to anyone. I can take $1 from all the people. There are around 50,000 testers on UTest. So this is really a bad one. So I reported it to them, and they got it fixed now. So that's why I made this disclosure now on video. So they can be really bad ones, and so you can use your what do you call, the developer tools, the network tab, to see a lot of things that's going from your client, which is your web browser, to your server, and what kind of request, response, investigating them. What if I change this? What if I change this ID to something else? As these IDs sequential, first of all, the IDs should not be shown there, because you can brute force on different IDs and find out somehow and then plot an attack. Now, practice websites could be, this could be some of the websites that you can use for practicing. There are like many websites, like hundreds of them, but these are the some websites that I use. So hack this site you can use. There are different challenges on hackthisSite.org and even the Google. And then OS Juice Shop is a new one. Before I used to use a web code, but if you want to start, you can start with a web code. But also Juice Shop is much better compared to the web code. And also you can use a Hack Me Bank app, which is by McAfee. And then recommended reading, start with the OWASP website that I showed you the cheat sheet. That it's a great source of information, and you can, that's how that's my favorite, bookmarking. And then you can start with Hacking for Dummies by Kevin Beaver. So this book can be free. You can download it from some of the websites on web as well, or you can purchase a book, but I don't know, there may be a free copies as well by Kevin. And Ghost in the Wires by Kevin Mitnick is a great book. And recommended watching could be watching your Black Mirror. These kind of episodes on Black Mirror really scares me, but it also makes me think what else can happen when you get your artificial intelligence or robots or machine learning. If the security is not really good, then I don't think so you're not doing something great. Or you can watch movies like Swordfish, Snowden, Alex Snowden movie, and also Mr. Robot. So this is the message for you guys. If you care about the next generation to have a better lifestyle in terms of privacy and security, you know what to do. We have to start safeguarding the machines and the software. So thank you everyone, and this is my message, and I hope that you would take your first step towards ethical hacking, and so that we can build a better internet society. And there you go. This is my contact. You can follow me on Twitter or write to me, or you can Skype me. We can talk more. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Santhosh. Security is a very critical area and ever evolving one. So really, thank you so much. Thanks for your time today. It was a very insightful session on security, especially in terms of what a white hat hacker means and how to be one. Thank you for helping us understand where all we could start with and build some reasonable skills in the field. And many thanks for sharing the pointers. Those were really helpful. I'm sure our attendees found it very informative and useful too. So thanks again. We do have a lot of questions coming in, but since we are running out of time, I can send you the questions and we can post them on our blog if that's fine with you.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I can do that.
Send you the questions, yeah, and attendees can come back and look at SoftwareTestPro.com, and we'll have the responses posted there. All right.
Great.
Well, everyone, this concludes our webinar for today. Thank you for joining, and thank you for your questions, which Santhosh will be responding to very soon. And the recording will be up for you to listen to at, again, SoftwareTestPro.com. And if you want to see more demos and learn more about security testing, you could also join in at our conference, STPCon Spring 2018. Stay tuned for more webinars and online trainings, which are coming soon. And if you haven't signed up yet for the webinar, upcoming webinar, which is Leading Business Testers by Nancy Kellen on 14th February, the link is up for registration at SoftwareTestPro.com. So go ahead. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week ahead. See you all in California in April 2018. And have a great year ahead, all of you. Happy learning.